This is 93, yeah?
93. And audio will be rolling in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to episode 93 of the Degenerates Clubhouse. This episode is brought to you by that awkward feeling you get when you know you're supposed to remember someone's name and you just can't.
Okay.
And you're trying to think back when they first introduced themselves, and then you realize all you were focusing on was not letting them do that weird thing where they go to shake your hand and they like grab all your fingers instead of your palm, and you've got no idea what their name actually is. And is it your fault for not remembering it, or is it their fault for just kind of being boring and bland? And that's our first sponsor. I know. You guys are like, how did you land that big of a sponsor? Are you guys living in mansions, driving Rolls Royces? No, we're not.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, Mondo's does have a Rolls Royce. I'm sorry.
Duh.
And our second sponsor is Irwin Naturals. That's actually a real brand.
Irwin Naturals?
Yeah, IRWIN. Okay. Irwin Naturals. They're not giving us money. They're not giving us any sort of products, and they don't know who we are. So I don't know if you can technically count them as a sponsor, but I do take a lot of their supplements.
So basically you're saying you sponsor them.
You know what, Mondo? If you put words together in any sort of order you want, you can make it sound like anything.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
So, yeah. I sponsor them. They sponsor us. It's really just two sides of the same coin. And I just brought them up because you were asking, like, what supplements do I take? So let's do a little compare and contrast. Let's see what we each take.
So,
do you are your supplements broken up into like morning and night, or you just have your one dose of them?
The three of the four are Tum Tum related,
or Tum Tum,
and one is just like a general health. So I take fish oil, but you know those pills, and I'm not really particularly married to any particular brand. I just get the whatever one's on having a special going on. So fish oil is a good one. And then the other three I take there's one that's like a fiber like a fiber supplement, and then there's another one it's a colon supplement with probiotics, and then the third one's turmeric. So the three I take are all Tum Tum related, and I think those three are like they say don't eat them or don't take them on an empty stomach, like they want you to eat them after a meal. So I'll tend to do that, or like if I'm having a little breakfast, like a little pastry or coffee or something, then I'll take them with that. But yeah, the one I got going back a little ways, I had a colonoscopy in 2016, 15, 16, somewhere thereabouts, because I was having really, really, really bad tum-tum problems, and they did an I don't know if it's an MRI or they did a X-ray at least on my tum-tum and all this shit, and finally like, yeah, let's do a colonoscopy. All of a sudden after all was said and done,
is that the only time you've had one?
Yeah. After all was said and done, the endo, whatever the fuck doctor you call him, was like, hey, here's these pills to take, and basically it's a fiber supplement that's supposed to be non-gas, like non-bloating stuff.
Interesting. Do you know what makes it non-gas, non-bloating?
The actual chemical makeup of it is calcium
carbonate.
Carbopyfill or some shit. Calcium carbophil.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be not making more gassy.
I have also had one colonoscopy. Have I told you that story?
Maybe.
I was okay. So for anyone fortunate enough to not ever have had a colonoscopy, the actual procedure not that bad because you're unconscious. Like
they gas you up and you're out.
Mondo was pre-gas, but I'll show myself out. But the shitty part, no pun intended, is you have to fast for a whole day before, and you have to take all these laxatives because they just want to flush out your system. They're sticking a little camera up your booty hole, and they don't want the waters to be too murky, so to speak,
Right.
when they're inspecting around. And
They don't want to go through a swamp. They want to go through blue waters.
exactly. And so that part is to me the worst. You're it's like you're just drinking water. You can't eat anything except for what is it? You can eat Jello, but maybe I think it's like not red Jello.
No red Jello.
Yeah.
They tend to like say eat broths that don't have anything in them, like just like basically chicken broth or beef broth or something like that. It's basically salty flavored water.
And then which on its own that'd be fine. Whatever. You can go a day without eating. You can go a couple days without eating. But when you're pairing that with just a ton of laxatives,
Laxatives
so fun.
and fluid, so you're just constantly shitting.
Yeah, not the best.
Mhm.
Not the best.
And then you're just peeing out of your butt like the whole day before, like your procedure whenever you got to take a shit.
Correct. So I get there,
Poop soup.
and like we're getting, they're about to do like the pre like check in and everything, and like get me prepped, and the nurse goes, "Oh, do you want to use the bathroom?"
Oh yeah, you did tell me this. That's right.
I'll finish the story briefly, and I'm like, okay, fine, and I go and I come back out, and she's asking me all these questions, and then she goes, okay, so and what color is your stool, or like what color was it when you went to the bathroom? I'm like, oh, I don't know, and she's like, well, we need to know what color, because if it's I can't remember what it was, if it's like green, then we can't do the procedure, and if it was this color, then we can do it, and I'm trying to explain to her, I'm like, I am colorblind, I cannot see.
Yeah.
That spectrum of the color
I'll
field.
be happy to shit in the toilet and you can take a look for me, but I can't.
I know. She could have. She was right there. And I told her, I'm like, it wasn't purple. I can tell you that much if that sets your mind at ease. So I had to go and repeat. I had to do the whole thing over again. The same back-to-back days. So I just didn't eat any solid, not even solid foods. I mean, it was just like Wanda was saying, broth and laxatives for another day. And I was not a happy camper.
No.
So going back to the supplements, maybe I will have to find out what your non-gassy fiber supplement is.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
But Mondo, I've got an intricate and ever evolving supplement routine. So first of all, my ones that I take daily are I do now I can't remember exactly what brand it is, but I do take like a before meal supplement just for acid reflux, and it's got stuff like slippery elm and like peppermint oil, and it's just things that are going to kind of soothe and coat your stomach, just to naturally reduce some of the acid reflux.
It says we are now reconnected, but I don't believe it. Let's see. Well, it says we're reconnected. So.
Okay. All I was saying about Irwin Naturals is some supplements they put they're like, this has 40,000% of your daily recommended value, and it's like, okay, you're just gonna like piss this out. Like, this isn't really necessary. So they don't overload their supplements with more stuff than you need. So yeah, so just a joint supplement. It's got like glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM, a lot of things and then turmeric. Like it I think their tagline is it's supposed to like soothe, coat, and then there's like one more thing I forget, but it's supposed to help lubricate. How did I forget that one? It's gonna rebuild, soothe, and lubricate, and you have to say it like that. They actually like spell it lubricate with like 5 U's.
What the fuck?
I don't know. I didn't write the copy on their website, Mino. It's
All
not my
right.
fault. The other one, I don't take this every day from them, but it's honestly, for me, it's like one of the most immediately effective supplements I've ever tried. Because sometimes you're taking a supplement and you're like, is this really doing anything?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, is it a placebo? Does it? And this one, you take it, and I think it's better than coffee. Honestly, it's Ginza plus Maca and Rhodalia.
So is that another pill you take that's got all those in them, or is it the same Irwin supplement that you're talking about?
Yeah, no, it's just another. It is a supplement by Irwin Naturals, so it's a pill.
Got it.
And wait, here, I'll read their copy. Ginza Plus is specifically designed to promote general well-being and is especially suited for individuals who feel depleted due to overwork, excess stress, and inadequate rest. So they've got ginseng extract, cordyceps. They've got like maca root and rhodelia in it, and it really does it to me. Like I definitely can noticeably and tangibly feel like an uptick in energy when I take it, and it lasts almost the whole day.
Wow.
And it's not like it's not that like that jolt like of coffee. It's not like jittery or anything. It's probably not quite as pronounced. But like I said, it's the whole day. I mean, it'll go, be like a 7-8 hours, and I don't take that every single day, but for some of those days where I'm like, oh, like I'm just dragging, I need a little extra boost. I really recommend that. And then they're on gassy days. I'm not like a black belt in gassiness like Mondo, but like maybe like a blue belt.
Ooh,
Little, I've definitely progressed past white belt because you can't stay white belt very long when you're guessing. I mean, most people get to brown pretty quickly. Guys, poop jokes, you gotta love them. Yeah, but just activated charcoal is actually pretty good for that. And then for sleepy times, I like some magnesium. Just relaxes the muscles, and then I always every night I take valerian, and then when if I actually need to fall asleep, then melatonin.
I have
like a 1 milligram.
I have a tea that I swear by it. Like if I'm feeling a little restless, like I just can't go to sleep, but I know it's getting like super late, and I know you're not supposed to drink too much. We talked about this off air. You're not supposed to drink too much fluid before you go to bed, because then you wake up in the middle of the night wanting to take a piss. But this tea, just drink a small, 8-10 ounce cup of this tea, and I don't know what's exactly in there. I can read it later, but that one does, like, if I'm feeling restless, like, it soothes me, and like I'm like, oh, I'll start all of a sudden I start yawning, and then like my eyes get heavy, so I'll just go and lay in bed until I conk out. But I like that tea. My mama sent me that tea like a year back, and I drink it like sparingly. I don't drink it all the time, but
do you know what type of tea it is?
I don't know what type of tea. I know it's called like a sleepy time tea I remember the name of the company is Bigelow, Bigelow, but I couldn't tell you what's in it.
Is it possible it's a chai?
I'll tell you off air. I'll tell you later. I don't know.
Maybe it's a tulsi?
I can tell you off air, or I can go get up off the chair and find out right now. But
hold on, Mono. I'm going somewhere with this. This is actually like mostly rhetorical. You're not catching on. Is it? No shit. No, I just lost the tea. I have a whole list of Indian-based teas. Because you know who else really liked tea, Mondo? Among other things.
Wait. I'm just now getting like, wait, where's he going with? Duh. Hello, dummy.
That's okay. It really wasn't that great of a segue, but we are doing Degenerates History.
Yeah.
And our prominent historical figure not only loved tea, he also loved nude young girls.
Yes, he did. And you wouldn't have thought who this person, highly revered as like, a very goody good doer. Mahatma Gandhi.
Well revered goody good doer.
Yeah. That's exactly what I meant to say. Gandhi is arguably the most famous spiritual leader in modern history, and was responsible for the civil rights movement that eventually broke British imperial rule over India. He was known for peaceful acts of non-cooperation, including hunger strikes, boycotts, and a 241-mile march to the sea to gather salt, an act prohibited by a bizarrely specific edict of British laws.
Wait, what do you think the genesis of that law was?
You are not allowed to get salt if it's over 240 miles away from you.
They had already, the British are always very forward-thinking, and they'd already anticipated like the Gen Z and millennial generation's fascination with sea salt, and they're like, no, fuck off, India. You can't have this valuable artisanal additive. Have you ever had sea salt caramel ice cream, Mondo?
I have.
It's delicious.
There's we'll really quick. There's a brand of oat milk ice cream, so it's not lactose, it's not dairy based, and they make a caramel salt, sea salt, something. Oh, dude. It's hard to.
But you know who couldn't have made those? It was
not Gandhi.
The Indians under colonial rule. Fuck off.
Gandhi was revered as a holy man until he was assassinated by a religious fanatic, which sadly is what tends to happen to people like him.
True that.
But behind closed doors, ... It's true that Gandhi took a vow of celibacy when he was 37. However, this did not stop him from heroically encouraging young women to sleep naked with him until he was well into his 70s.
There was a lot of really cheesy copy in this article, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave the heroically in there.
Yeah.
That was when you take into account he took a vow of celibacy, and let's suppose he kept it. I mean, he was dedicated. He really wanted to.
Does celibacy mean you can't get a hand job?
Yeah, I think nothing. I think he was like the David Goggins of blue balls.
I thought it was just like no penetration.
Do you know who David Goggins was? That too obscure of a reference?
I know who David Goggins is. Anyway, he claimed that this was merely an extension of his vow intended to test his pious restraint. According to the strict rules of Gandhi's ashram, these women weren't even allowed to sleep with their own husbands, yet they were all but required to participate in Mahatma's creepy old man slumber parties, which included not only sleeping nude with Gandhi, but also bathing with him and giving him strip teases.
Okay, hold on. Pause. There's a lot to unpack there. Wait, so first of all, let's he was trying to reach another level of enlightenment, and he's like, I'm going to prove, that I'm just the ultimate blue ball champion.
Yeah.
So there's that. But the women weren't allowed. So some of the women were married, but they weren't able to sleep with their husbands. Okay, how did he enforce this?
Dude. I mean, I can't, he's Hugh Hefner, but in India. I mean, if you think about it, he's just a creepy old dude and just having like hot young chicks except for I think what's his name took some blue pills to like actually put it in him. Yeah.
No blue balls for only blue pills. But here's the other part is that he's like holding this up as like, oh, they're doing strip teases for me, and this is bringing me closer to enlightenment.
Yeah.
Mondo, are all the sad sorry sacks that you see at strip clubs who are just sitting there watching,
they're trying to reach enlightenment, dude?
Yeah. Are these potential future saints?
I think so.
They're not getting lap dances. They're not going to hookers. They're just, they're like, Candace on stage 1, $5, $10. Like they're doing God's work, Mondo. You know what? And this is what we're learning. We're viewing these people and these fine, holy establishments.
There's a reason why they're called Gentlemen's Club. Duh. Because they're just being gentlemen.
That's an excellent point. I mean, people are making spiritual pilgrimages to all these like shrines. You should be going to Foxy's Cabaret.
Yep.
You guys have misplaced your spiritual energies.
So yeah, that's not even the shadiest part. Gandhi
that wasn't.
Oh, fuck. Gandhi took his 18-year-old grandniece on a trip with him to Bengal, and commanded her to share the nudity bunk with him for the entire stay. A move he rationalized by telling her that they might be killed at any moment by angry Muslims.
Oh sure, the nudity bunk. Is that something standard? Like, I'm sorry, I'm imagining like they're booking like train tickets or whatever. It's like, now, would you like the general passenger section? Would you like the sleeper car? Or would you like the nudity bunk?
So I gotta say that I can't. I was gonna I read that last little bit about the 18-year-old grandniece. I was gonna say, as long as they're not related to him or young, if he's like having these 30 and 40-year-old women, lay in bed with them naked. He's not banging them. He's not like doing anything perverted. Then good for you, guy. But the whole, when you get like kids that are too young, or in this case, someone related to him, it's kind of like, oh, dude, like,
why is there's almost always a relative involved in these cases? It's just a recurring theme.
Fucking Gandhi. Why is that not discussed more? Why is everyone like, because I didn't know all this stuff about Gandhi. I mean, I just thought like everybody else, Gandhi was a, damn near saint, like martyr dude. But he had his perverted side. So I guess nobody's perfect is all we can learn from degenerate's history.
Well, and I also love the rationalization, though. It's like, oh, we might be murdered by Muslims, so therefore the only logical course of action is for you to sleep nude with me.
Yeah, get naked with me, and then all of a sudden, if
Yeah, we won't get murdered because we're sleeping naked together.
So what do you do if, like, let's say you're in a building and it's getting like bombed, right? It's getting like shot at or whatever, and you're laying in bed with your 18-year-old grandniece. Do you like, we're gonna die? Can I just put it in? Is that what? You know what I mean? Is that kind of going as like?
Are you asking this hypothetical as a what would Gandhi do or what would I do?
What would Gandhi do? I mean, do you think he's just like, fuck it, we're gonna die. Let me just put it in one last time before I die here.
No. He's what Gandhi's gonna do is so. Here's the other thing. I mean, we're gonna read between the lines of some of this copy. Like Gandhi was walking around with a raging boner up until I'm gonna say the whole time. I think he had that much stored up testosterone and frustration from all these years of celibacy. Like until he died, he probably, he had those flowing robes.
Mm-hmm.
That was to hide the giant boner. Well, probably not giant, but the little Gandhi boner.
He probably had to like wrap it like a bunch and like tie it like really close to his torso so it wouldn't like doing.
And like I think that whole time he hadn't had sex. So in this scenario you've concocted, there's bombing. He's like I'm about to die, and then like he's got the boner ready to go. It's just been a perma boner this whole time, and then he initiates having sex and then stops right before any sort of penetration and blows up, because that's like the ultimate test. This man was a holy man. He was committed to unlimited blue balls, and then he goes to Gandhi heaven.
I guess. Gandhi heaven. That was it for Degenerates history. Moving on to Florida Man.
Oh wait, was Gandhi Buddhist?
I don't know.
He wasn't Muslim.
I do not know.
I feel like we should know this.
Your article does not say.
Oh, he was Hindu. So could he have been reincarnated?
I don't know.
Or is that Buddhism?
I don't know. Well, Buddhism is like eternal. You reach enlightenment. You die and you get reincarnated until your I guess your soul or whatever eventually reaches enlightenment, and then you whatever.
Reincarnation is a key belief within Hinduism.
Oh, so it's the same as kind of more or less the same.
Okay,
as
wait,
Buddhism.
hold on, Mondo. What year did Gandhi die?
He
look
died
that up.
in 1948 at age 78.
No, it doesn't line up. Fuck. I was trying to see. I was like, what year did Gandhi die, and what year was Hugh Hefner born?
Ooh, so he was reincarnated as Hefner is what you're trying to say.
But no, Hef was born in 1926.
Oh.
So it doesn't line up. That theory is struck down. We're going to have to continue our studies and our pursuits and asking these deep and ponderous questions. But let's respond to some less deep and less ponderous questions on...
I thought we were doing Florida Man.
AskReddit.
Okay, well, we'll do that before we do Florida Man, I guess. AskReddit question number 1. Aaron, what if you found the Death Note? And so let's really quick, because I think there's going to be some listeners that don't know what Death Note is.
Yeah, do you want me to summarize it?
Yeah.
So in Japanese culture, there are these sort of almost like angels of death, these death spirits called shinigami, who carry around these notebooks where they are like recording who's gonna die and how they're gonna die. And there's a story like an animated story about some high school kid that manages to get hold of one of the death notes, like the Shinigami's notebook, where he can write in a person's name and method of death, and that person will die like that.
Yeah, so it's basically kind of like I guess, what was that movie? Final Destination is kind of like a spin or twist on that.
Well, except you can control it. That's the difference. It's like you're the one, you can choose who's going to die. I could be like Armando Ramirez, August 5th, toilet explodes while pooping.
There you go.
And then
that's how you die. So essentially, the person that holds these death notes or this notebook thing can kind of more or less, commit murder. Like they have the ultimate control over someone's fate.
Yeah,
So
you're a minor murder god.
So yeah, they've been they've made some animated anime movies and manga and all this shit based off of Death Note, this kind of mythology, if you want to call it that. So Aaron, if you found this Death Note, if it was a real thing and you found the Death Note notebook thing, what would you do?
So, in the Death Note story you just mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
like this kid's trying to be altruistic in his mind,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just death noting like thousands and thousands of murderers and convicted felons, and then he kind of gets overboard, and it's this whole cat and mouse thing because they figure out, oh, someone is doing this. See, I feel like I would be much smaller scale and like a little bit more petty with it.
Uh-huh.
um, I want to say like I would probably use it like maybe once a year.
Mm-hmm.
It would be someone who I feel like just needed to die anyway. Like this person's close, right? I'm just helping natural causes along, and like no one would even be that surprised. You're like, oh yeah, that person died. And I'm trying to think like who would actually be.
Do you think you would do it for like altruist or in your mind, like that character in the manga anime thing? In your mind, do you think you would start altruistically at first? and then you'd get
For sure.
Then you'd get pretty petty after a while.
That's that one that's hard to know, right?
Yeah.
Like it might be like, oh, this person has caused incalculable suffering, and like some despot of a like third world country who's just torturing their citizens, and they're old and they just won't give up power. And I'm like, okay, this is my time. I'm just my one death note a year, and then I write their name in, and then and that's where I think it would start. And then 15 years later, I'm like, all right, this dickhead canceled my appointment. You know what? Like,
damn you, Jeff Bezos, you raising Netflix or what is that? Amazon Prime for $6 a month to $9 a month. You motherfucker!
You said my Amazon package was going to get there on Thursday, and it got there on Friday. How dare you, sir? Dude, would you kill Jeff Bezos?
No, like.
But would you kill Jeff Bezos?
I don't know that I would kill him. He hasn't done anything wrong to me. I mean, I don't. Whatever.
I mean, he is part of a silent ruling class that's kind of like fucking everything up for the rest of us.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of those though. There's a lot of people. It's not just him.
Is that it? You just kill. What happens if you just kill all the billionaires? Where does that money go?
To their wills, to their fucking next of kin, or to their wives or whatever.
I don't know.
But they won't be Dr. Evil about it. At least maybe you would just hope that their successors aren't as fucked up and twisted.
Well, because Jeff Bezos is just straight up Dr. Evil.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, I mean, no, he is one of the few people who's ever had a hair loss procedure just so he could look more like a supervillain.
Yeah, yeah, and his eyes all fucking. He's got one eye that's all fucking blinky, winky. He fits a lot of characteristics of most like evil.
Guys straight up been like, oh, like we need to focus on space, so because Earth is not salvageable, it's just going to be a complete train wreck, and my billionaire ruling class can go live amongst the stars while the rest of you die on terra firma. It's like, thanks, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Super villain origin story. What would you do with the Death Note, Mondo?
I used to hold a lot of grudges with people. I used to be that petty where I would hold like grudges, especially a lot younger. I think I still have a very, very short list of people that would be on my Death Note, but I gotta admittedly, like none of the names in that list are I didn't commit serious crimes. They're just people that have wronged me this way or that way that are just shitty people. I'm like, you don't need to be alive. Like, yeah. I'm afraid of giving any details, like even the slightest details of some of these people, because I think it would give away who these people might be, and it would be like, ooh, Armando's kind of fucked up in the brain. But who doesn't already know that? I guess.
The sticking point with me on that is, I think I've lived long enough to be like, ooh, but what if I'm the shitty person?
Yeah.
And it's all by degrees, right? Like these people might be shittier than I am.
Yeah.
But like, what if I'm like a lot shittier than I think I am?
Yeah.
Oh no! And then it's what if you're not the hero of your own tale? You're the supervillain.
I absolutely know that I'm not perfect and I've got flaws and
No,
you
don't
try
say that. You're perfect.
try to
Mondo. You're perfect. You're
try to
perfect
be
to us, Mondo.
try to be better when I can, but I know I got some issues just like all of us, but I don't know. Yeah, there'd be for sure. I would say I could count them in one hand how many people would be just magically disappeared. Like oops. What do you remember so and so like no, I don't know what you're talking about. Dude.
All right, quick. This is very vital, Mondo. Am I on this list? Is this
Oh no.
Has this podcast been a long con this whole time?
No.
Guys, why does he keep winking when he says that?
No.
No, he says no, and he's doing this big exaggerated wink. What does that mean, Mondo?
Absolutely not. People that are watching it on YouTubes and Twitches know that you're lying and you're full of shit. Thank you very much. But no, I would like you, I think I would try to be quote unquote benevolent and going after people like shitty dictators or people that are doing like horrible work. Like I'll give you an example. If like Hitler was alive today, he's going on my death note. Like people that we just know are doing, shitty things to other people, like just downright just being shitty to other people. Like I would try to go after those people too, but I wouldn't do the one. I wouldn't limit myself to the one name per year rule that you came up with. Like I would just fuck you.
I fear that would be a slippery slope, and I would get carried away.
Yeah.
Because
then you're like once per month, and once a week.
Well, and also I feel like with this stuff, there's always unintended consequences, right? Like, what if in my mind I'm like, oh well, I think these politicians. I don't think I would ever death note politicians because that's just a little bit too confusing, and it's like, because what if I think, oh, I'm really doing a great thing, and I like death note these like 15 politicians. And then they end up being replaced by people who are like 20 times worse. And I'm like, oh no, I did all this.
That or like, you death note someone and then their entire country's economy just takes a fucking shit. Not that it will, but some might. Like some might be greatly impacted by, the whole butterfly effect, how all their shit like affects other shit. But anyway.
I love how as a culture we completely understand it and have embraced the butterfly effect, but we also don't understand how climate change works.
Yeah. So let's read some of what the users on Reddit have had to say.
Yeah, Reddit. What
User Orange Green Purple 123 writes, "Whose ever name is," and then they pointed up. "I'm sorry, my 1-year-old killed you with his crayons." Okay. User Baron _, Meliadis writes, "Look around for the nearest goth kid who dropped their notebook."
They're gonna return the death note.
Yeah,
I guess.
User Accountant OK328 writes, "I would do nothing because the sheer thought of Ryuk being anywhere near me would cause me to shit myself to death."
Oh, that's a good point. I guess the death spirit, the Shinigami, is like
hanging
lurking around. No, it's fine. You know what? I need to expand my social circle. I'm down with it.
Yeah.
I can't. You know what? I can't be discriminate. Like spirits of death.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I'd be buddies with it.
Hang up.
Hey, dude. Hey, let's fucking have some coffee and kill some people today. Okay.
Hey, spirit of death. Do you want to watch UFC? It's like it's in your general alley. Like, come hang out with us.
Last one I'll read for that.
Mondo's really upset. He's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna lose this bet." And the death spirit's like, "Hold on."
I got you, G. Last one I'll read. User Sandcakes writes, "Does the death note accept if and or statements? Could write some nice code to sort a lot of things out."
Oh, I understand what they're saying.
If such and such does this, then
correct.
Got it. Well, that was it for Reddit question number 1. Reddit question number 2. If you owned an 18+ theme park, what attractions would you put in?
Sure. I would have a sort of haunted house style ride, and it would really be like aimed at the kind of like 30-something demographic. So it's like you walk in and the first room, it's called the Your Living Room ride, and it's like a living room like that kind of looks like yours, but it's just got way nicer furniture than you could afford. You're like, oh fuck, that is what I would have picked out if I had like $10,000 of disposable cash. And then instead of having like people dressed up in scary costumes trying to like scare the shit out of you. It's like you just like sitting down in your really nice living room, like you have like a you, like what's the alcohol that if money was no object you would buy?
I don't know. I've never thought of
Just like whatever, just like a
some expensive ass bottle of wine that I could never afford, like
Yeah.
a $50 bajillion bottle of wine. I'd probably get something like that.
there's just a glass of that, and it's not the actual wine. It's just a mock-up replica of it,
Uh-huh.
so you can feel like you're drinking expensive fancy wine. And then instead of the maimed, deranged looking like person in a costume coming and trying to scare you, it's just like a really really like hot woman, just normal, and just walks in and is like, oh, like you're so great, like, oh, I'm so happy to see you, my day is just so much better, like I love you, and then she just walks out, and you're like, oh, just get a little boost. You're sitting in your living room, hot woman walks in and just gives you compliments and then leaves. That's it. That's my ride.
I'm very confused by your 18 plus theme park.
See,
So
I
it's just a tease. It's just a tease of the shit you can't have.
it's it's like the haunted house is meant to scare you, and this is just meant to give you like a little bit of like an ego buzz.
Ah.
It's like, because I think when they phrased this question, when they said 18 plus, they were thinking like, ooh, like weird sexy stuff,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, no, like what do adults really want? Like,
Go to bed by like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
and
like
sleeping in every day.
I want like home ownership. I want to just like be able to chill and have a nice beer. I want some validation from a significant other. Boom, done. Put that in a ride.
My immediate 18 thought to the 18 plus was all the sex stuff. I thought like, so those I don't watch this type of porn, but like when looking for porn, you will see like clips of like women using like crazy toys, like shit that has like a dildo that moves like on a fucking giant piston or
I
something.
thought you meant like the 10,000 piece Lego sets.
No.
Those are pretty crazy, man. Have you
No.
seen them?
So
Very complex.
So immediately I thought of like how when you get into a roller coaster they strap you in and you get all safe and shit. Like I immediately thought of like, well, for the women it'd be a saddle that they sit on you get strapped into that has like a giant rod and as they're going through the ride, this thing like is vibrating and moving and shit. So you're going through the ride, this roller coaster, and then you're fucking getting off at the same time. And then for dudes, very similar. Instead of it being a rod, it's
prostate.
like, yeah, sure. It's like
it could also be a rod.
I don't want to do that one.
How are you gonna clean this ride, Mondo? What is the sterilization process?
You gotta wear contraceptives, I guess, and they're disposable, and then they clean them, and they fucking use the COVID stuff to clean it off so that there's no bacteria and everything. But yeah, so you're going on a ride and you're getting fucking sexually stimulated. Or also like, how like they make those 3D shooter rides? Like, have you been to Disneyland where they got the one where you put on glasses and things are kind of in sort of 3D and you're shooting at like targets as the ride is moving, you're shooting targets and you're like accumulating points. What if it was something like that, but you're wearing goggles and there's like sexy shit going on and you're shooting at shit, and the better your score is, like
what are you shooting?
Targets along the walls as you're moving through this ride. This like those.
Do you get aroused by shooting things?
No, but what I'm saying is like the more you shoot at shit, the more your whatever is like attached to your genitalia, the more it vibrates or makes you feel sexually stimulated.
So for you, there's a clear link between shooting things and being sexually stimulated.
No, not really. But I think
what you just said.
No. I'm saying there's a ride like that, and then a ride that takes the same concept, so that you have something you're trying to win. You're trying to achieve like a high score, so that you just fucking nut everywhere. You're just like,
Mondo gets the $500 million of funding he needs to build this theme park, and then is promptly shut down by health services.
Yeah, that's all right.
They're like, this whole thing is a walking health violation. Sorry.
Yeah, you gotta take a STD test before you're admitted into the park, and you're wearing like, shit to like not nut everywhere. And then there's people cleaning it.
How much are those people? What is the hourly going rate for the Wait, there's a name for that in the porn industry. What is it? Like I can't remember because
The fluffers?
No, fluffers are in the front. They're the ones that are getting the people aroused, the performers. There's a name for like the squeegee / mop
I don't
artists.
know. I didn't know that was an actual profession.
But yeah, how much are you getting paid to do that job? Like what is the dollar
Not
amount
enough.
where this person's like, you know what, I could make $15 an hour at this like Denver McDonald's, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've never been to like a peep show or like one of those things like that. But apparently, like some of those employees are not like they're like the dregs of society, and and some of them are kind of already like not all there, like kind of sexual deviant type of people.
This theme park has to exist out of the country. It's not in the U.S. It just couldn't happen. I'm trying to think.
Well, like Nevada is Nevada's pretty liberal with the sexy stuff.
Yeah,
It would have to be in Nevada, like in Vegas somewhere.
I think you need a country that is both just very, very desperate for any sort of like revenue. The people of the country are poor enough where they're like, oh, I can be like a splooge mopper for like I can feed my family for a month on a week's salary of splooge mopping, and like they'll do it. And but then it also, like, a lot of those countries are kind of I don't know if sexually repressed, but like I don't think they would be down with that religiously.
Don't ruin my sexual amusement park.
There's somewhere that this would work. I'm trying to zero in on it so you can build out this business plan and fulfill your life's dream.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do more research on
Yeah.
it, but it's out there. Your dream's not dead.
Some of the other users on Reddit responded to that question. User Mud Island, and here I am just innocently thinking about a ride where you get to shoot zombies. Okay. User Main Butter writes, a petting zoo because adults love goats too. Ooh.
Oh wait, hold on. This is a real thing. Have you ever heard of goat yoga?
I have.
That I drove I drove past someplace near like the Colorado Mills Mall, and there's this big sign for goat yoga, and I was like, what the fuck? And literally it's you're like outside and you're doing yoga, and there's baby goats.
They're just climbing all over you.
Yeah, they're like, oh, human jungle gym, and you just do yoga while baby goats climb all over you.
People pay for that shit. I don't know why. Don't get it, but hey.
Hey, if you don't knock it until you've tried it.
The last one I'll read with that question. User Angel Guardian 002 writes, an adult-sized playground, slides, swings, everything fun from when we were kids that we're too big for now. Giant sandbox maybe. Just a fun place to hang out and play like kids again.
How big is this person?
Yeah.
Like I mean, yeah, it's like you're a little bit too large, but like, can they not fit? I mean, have you not just gone on a playground slide recently?
I have not.
Really?
Yeah.
So I like to, usually at night, but like I go walking and everything, and every so often pass by a playground. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go down that slide.
Do you?
Sure.
Wow.
I mean, like probably like 3-4 times a year.
Wow. I haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, why not?
I think the last time I may have gone on like little kiddie amusement things like that are when I would take like my niece and nephew out and about to go to the park or do something fun with them, and maybe I would go on the swings with them or something like that, but it's been a long time.
I took Finn. There's a elementary school next to my house, and I took my dog Finn, and he's like, oh, what are we doing? I'm like, yeah, no, Finn, go up here.
You know what? That's a good point.
And then he went sliding down the slide, and I don't think he liked it, but you know what? You got to expand his horizons.
I may have to do that. I don't think, did we talk about this yet on the podcast? That I'm going to be a dog dad pretty soon?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
But
well, anyway.
We could revisit it.
No, I
was
was just gonna say briefly that, like, yeah, I guess in a couple weeks, or no, like in a month's time or so, I'm gonna have to go to drive to California and pick up a dog. So I might have to do what you said, go to the park and take little pupper with me and go on, because the Australian cattle dog, the blue heelers, are like, they need to be very active. They need to be out and doing crazy shit. So I may have to do that with he or she when I pick this pupper up. Go on slides and shit like Aaron it does 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah.
That was it for Reddit question number 1 or 2. Sorry. Moving on to our scheduled last segment. Florida man. Woman with pitchfork whip arrested outside Publix in Florida. Here's what troopers say she was doing. I don't know if the article answers this question, but what is Publix?
That is a grocery store.
Okay. Lisa Ann Sloan. Because when I thought Publix, I thought it was like a sex shop. Just for the way it's spelled.
Yeah. No, it's a grocery store.
Anyway.
Down south.
Lisa Ann Sloan, 56, faces aggravated assault charges in Lake County. A woman accused of waving a pitchfork and black whip in front of a Publix store was arrested Tuesday in Lake County, according to an arrest affidavit. The public manager told deputies that Lisa Ann Sloan, 56, was trying to sell teddy bears behind the store in Mineola earlier that day, the Florida Highway Patrol reported.
Now, first of all, I'm not going to criticize her for bringing a pitchfork or a whip. I mean, those are things that anyone just might have and want to bring with them to a Publix. But my issue is with her business sense. She's trying to sell the teddy bears behind the Publix. You gotta get a prime location, right?
What do you think the Girl Scouts do? They go up front
exactly
when people are walking in, and you bug them for their spare change.
So, like, I think, yeah, ideally, like, you walk out of Publix on your right. There's some Girl Scouts. You're like, oh, do you want the Samoas? Do you want the Thin Mints? And on your left, there's a deranged lady with a pitchfork and a whip selling teddy bears. And you're like, do I want the cookies or do I want the teddy bears that has this kind of weird stain on it? I don't really know what that is. I want to live adventurously. I'm going to get the teddy bear. But no, she's behind. Terrible business sense. Continue.
Dummy. The manager told troopers Sloan used a pitchfork to stab a minivan, the reporter said. The manager also said the owner of the vehicle did not want police involvement and would fix the damage on their own, according to FHP.
Okay, that's very suspect.
You're right.
Why would you not want police? They're like, I'm just going to pay for this?
Yeah, they probably have expired tags or the stolen van or something. No police involvement. No, nothing you see here.
Mondo, I'm going to posit this. I'm not saying this is true, but for the rest of the article, just view it through this lens as a possibility.
All right.
This lady's actually a demon hunter.
Ooh.
I mean, if you were a demon hunter, would you not probably carry a pitchfork and a whip? And like, she can see things that we can't. And that minivan, that was a demon trying to suck the life force and the souls out of the kind and upstanding patrons of the Publix supermarket.
Mm-hmm.
And she was defending them. And the reason they didn't want to press charges because they're like, oh no, we're gonna get found out as a demon. You know, keep your Earth law out of this. We're gonna just do battle in the demon realm, and she's actually our savior.
You know what's funny is I don't think you've seen this show, and I haven't seen it at all either. It sounds kind of sort of like Winona Earp. Have you ever heard of that show?
No.
Really quickly, this isn't a Binge and Purge segment, but Winona Earp is basically, she's a descendant of Wyatt Earp, and she has Wyatt Earp's gun or something like that can basically like kill these, like, to the naked eye, people don't know certain people that coexist with us in life are like demons, and so she goes around like hunting these demons with Wyatt Earp's magical gun. It's very very sci-fi, like, you know.
So this is the Florida woman,
yes.
Winona Earp. Got it.
Yes, but she uses a pitchfork and whip instead of Wyatt Earp's gun.
I mean, those are, frankly, pitchfork, whip, way more badass than paraphernalia.
Troopers ordered Sloan to stop, but she refused to put the weapon down and walked away, according to the arrest affidavit.
Fuck no. You don't put your magic pitchfork down. Fuck off, cops.
You don't want that weapon to be in the wrong hands.
No, yeah, if the demons get it, like, Earth is just
doomed.
We're all going to perish. Of course.
The report said Sloan unbuckled her seatbelt after being placed in a patrol car and began kicking at the window. According to FHP, Sloan appeared to be highly intoxicated on a stimulant drug, but did not have an odor of alcohol.
We're learning more about demon hunting. Meth, apparently very crucial to killing demons.
Maybe that's why she's seeing demons to begin with, is she's all fucking tweaked out.
That's how you cross it into the spirit world, Mondo. I've heard people say that when you're on meth, I mean, it's like you're seeing in another dimension.
After being asked about her cut marks and bruises, I almost said cunt marks.
Those two.
After being asked about her cut marks and bruises, Sloan said she felt no pain anymore and that God was in control.
Oh my God.
You were right, dude.
Holy shit.
Did you read this before? I didn't read this beforehand. I didn't read it, by the way. Sloan is being held in Orange County Jail, and she's being charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon with a $5,000 bond.
Can we? Is there a Kickstarter for this savior of humanity?
Yeah.
Let's get on that. Yeah, I mean, I think we have sort of cracked the code. That's
Yeah.
exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
This lady, I mean, she's gearing up. She's taking meth for us
Yeah.
to save us, and
What do? We fucking put her in jail. How dare we?
Yeah, her sacrifices are not being appreciated by the Florida police.
Yeah, pitchfork and whip. If I saw like a woman with a pitchfork, I honestly, unless they were attacking me, I'd be like, I would just kind of like, nothing to see here. I just walk away and like not interact with this strange person, this strange demon hunter.
Wise course of action.
Yeah. That was it for Florida Man. What's been going on with? Oh, by the way, I'm wearing my Tom Segura shirt. I know last week we talked about how I was going to go to a Tom Segura comedy show like right after the our episode was recorded. Went to Tom Segura show. It was amazing. It was. So I know when like I was in junior high, I kind of listened to a little bit of hip hop and R&B stuff on the radio, like not a ton of it. The show started with DJ Cash Money, a very well known like DJ from that era, from like the late 80s, 90s, R&B hip hop stuff. So DJ Cash Money did like a 30 to an hour set. I couldn't tell you. I was a little buzzed. I drank a few little beers before getting there, and but and that's not my type of music typically. Like I'm more into rock and that kind of stuff. But my God, this fucking DJ just put the energy at the right level. Like it made me feel nostalgic. It made me feel like happy. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna enjoy this. This is gonna be a good time. People were like getting up in the middle of the thing, dancing and shit. Like the DJ started the show off fucking beautifully, and then they had a female comedian that I've never heard of before named Amy Miller. She's wearing she's a heavier set gal, and she's wearing like a gown, kind of like a going out, like a fancy dinner type of gown, like not like a t-shirt and jeans. Like she was dressed like pretty nice, pretty fancy. So when I see this woman going up there on stage, I'm like, oh, this comedy's gonna be very clean, very, it's not up my alley. It's gonna be some fucking boring shit. But no, dude, she proved me wrong. She got just as raunchy as Tom Segura can get, and some dark stuff that
you realize he picks the opening act.
Right? Yeah. She was fucking amazing. Never heard of her before. Follow her on Instagram. I followed her, and she, I posted a thing on Instagram, and she liked the post I made about how they did well. Follow her on Instagram at, let me find it. It's just Amy Miller Comedy, the way it's spelled, the way it sounds. She was amazing. She was funny as fuck. And then Jeff Tate, who I've heard of the name of before, and I've seen some comedy stuff of his before. He was good. His final joke, his closing joke, I won't do it justice, so I won't retell the joke well. I won't do it very well, but it has to do with the ability to vote or not vote, and for the U.S. elections, presidency, and how you are eligible or illegible to vote is basically based.
Wait, what was that second one?
Eligible or ineligible. I said it wrong. Ineligible. You caught me. So it's either how you're eligible or ineligible to vote. Based on
question one.
Stop it. Fuck you. Is based off of the word, how people misspell there all the time. The three,
Uh-huh.
But again, the joke is based about amazing fucking final joke, and everyone just fucking went nuts with his closer. And then Tom Segura, fucking the man, the myth, the legend, did his set, and it was all new material. Enjoyed every bit of it, and then at the very end of it, DJ Cash Money did like a closing going out set. Amazing show at Ball Arena. Amazing show. I can't wait to see another show like that again. But it was a good time.
Cool.
What's new with you?
Couple things. So finally cleared permitting. Like I have the permit to build a house, and it's only good for 180 days. I'm like, oh fuck. Apparently you can renew that, and then of course as soon as the permit actually comes through, I can't get a hold of any of the contractors.
Awesome.
And I'm like, hey guys, like we need to start like now.
Yeah.
Or else I'm just gonna have a giant like weird swimming pool in this yard. Like it's gonna be winter, and there'll be like a foundation, but there'll be no house.
Yeah.
It's just like a big concrete hole in the ground. And then I had done a rough version of this before, where I'm like actually seeing all the costs and then funds available. But I did a very elaborate Excel spreadsheet.
Ooh.
With pretty colors.
Ooh.
There's some different blues. There's a couple of like blue greens. Very, very spicy.
Hey, I thought you were colorblind.
I'm not like a dog. It's not black and white. There's just certain colors that like red and brown. Well, it's actually no. It's not even. It's like green and brown. It's a trouble. Like red and green, I'm okay. Red and brown is a problem. Green to brown is a problem. Blue to purple is a problem. Anyhow. But then I updated it with instead of estimates, like all the actual like bids and everything. And I'm like, oh, to finish this house, I'm at least negative $80,000. Fuck.
That's all you need. That's it. Easy. Just win the lotto real quick.
Dude, I thought about it. I was coming home from a hike, and you stopped at like a 7-Eleven or something just to get, because I was really thirsty. And I saw the lotto tickets, and I was like, oh wait, there's this like set for life lottery where you get like $5,000 a week. And I was like, fuck it, you know what? You can't win if you don't play. The motto of poor people everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna buy one. And then I started to buy one. I was like, wait, this is $50 for a ticket? Fuck off.
Yeah. Well, the Mega Millions just reached like some crazy number right now. It's like $1 bajillion. I couldn't tell you, but it's like it's really high. It's really, 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 really high.
It is. It's just like lottery is the weirdest concept to me. Because we as a society, like collectively, like we're fine with it. We're like, oh yeah, like we're all gonna indirectly contribute all this money, and then one person gets it. But instead, when it's like, oh, we're gonna all contribute this money, and then we're gonna use it to pay for like public schools, people are like, no, fuck taxes. We don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. That's a whole separate thing. But the other maybe more relevant to this podcast is I'm like the room that I've been using is sort of like a study / living room. I've barely been using for like a TV living room area since I built that basement television room. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna convert this to a studio. I'm gonna set it up. It's a pretty big room. It's like 14 by 14.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm gonna set up like one area where if I want to record YouTube videos and stuff, I could do that. And then I'll just have like a little area where I can edit and do graphic design and video work. But here's the question: if I build a little corner that is more like a traditional like podcast studio, would you be up for recording at least like some episodes of the Degenerates Clubhouse there?
Yeah, we can try.
Cool. Because I wanted to ask you that because I'm gonna have at least part of the room like a darker blue.
Mm-hmm.
So I've painted some of it like just like a sort of like warmish like off white.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for the background it'd be cool if we had like a dark blue because that's sort of in our like in our logo and everything like that. And I was trying to figure out how much of the room do I paint. So Mondo, when I go back, no, I know I'm gonna paint like the back third of the room this blue, and then I can worry about setting up a little podcast studio.
Yeah, the soundproofing is anyway. We won't.
Yeah, we can talk about that off air.
Yeah, I think having used my apartment as a multi-purpose apartment / podcasting, it's gotten. I mean, it was a hell of a lot better than what we were when we started. Remember, I was recording this shit from my fucking car for a long period of time.
The fabled car episodes.
Yeah, like literally in my car with the car running.
Yeah,
so I can get the
and then you'd stop and you're like, oh, someone's looking in the window.
Yeah, like
what is this guy doing?
Yeah, let me drive off to a little more private area.
You're
well, you think
wasn't there one where you were recording it like you're at like a park or something?
Yeah, a lot of those were I was at a park.
And I was like, God, Mondo's gonna get arrested as like a sex offender. Like,
yeah, a lot of those I'm sitting in this Nissan Altima coupe with like a microphone in my hand and the laptop next to me, and I'm just talking my headphones and shit, and just and people like walking by like, what the fuck is this weirdo doing? But yeah, we've come a long way from where we were to where we are now, and it's fun.
Well, because I definitely think just for some of the visual elements, like say like we'd recorded that Florida Man one, and it was a little bit more visually put together. Like, I think we could just crop that as a segment and then just post it in the Florida Man section in Reddit. But I don't know. I always get a little bit too worried about production value.
Yeah.
That's one. I like that stuff. I like the idea of like, oh, how do you actually like produce like a real, more like refined thing, where I think a lot of the best internet content, they don't give a shit about what their backdrops are or anything like that. They're just putting stuff out there. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That's me. That's my hang up.
Any other news? Any other updates, topics you wanted to address?
Nah, you know what? That's good. What are we at? Like 56 minutes?
Oh, we're well over an hour.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we're an hour and like, I don't know, I guess like a minute or two. Something
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm good.
So yeah, that was it for the episode. Thanks for listening and watching. We appreciate you guys. And again, thank you to any listeners, whether you listen to it casually or listen to it religiously. Send us segment ideas. Tell us what you liked about our podcast. Tell us what you thought we sucked at. It won't hurt my feelings. We want to get better, but it's good to hear from you guys when you say, "Oh, that shit was funny" or "That shit was awful" or whatever. But have a good week, guys. We will talk to you guys next week. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys in a week.